So for anyone who clicked on this video, I'd just like to thank you a lot. This video took a lot of time and effort, and I really wanted to make sure I covered every base. So if you're interested and you like what you see, I recommend you come join my Discord. Links will be in the description below. Without further ado, we're going to get straight into the intro and into the video. Thanks. Okay, so when you first buy Escape from Tarkov, you're going to be met with the option of buying 4 separate editions. The first one that I'm showing on screen is the regular standard edition that a lot of players have, and I'll showcase it later on in the video. So it just goes over, and you can see here on screen different perks that comes with just buying the standard edition for $45 US. Moving on to the next edition, we have the Left Behind edition. This one provides you with more starting in-game gear, as well as a larger stash space. The next one is the Prepare for Escape edition. This one gives you a larger secure container, being the beta container, as well as a larger stash size of 10 by 48 with a bit of extra starting gear. And lastly, we have the Edge of Darkness edition. This is what I have. This gives you the gamma container and the maximum largest stash space, as well as limited access to all DLCs that come out in the future once the game is released into version 1.0 and can be bought for $140. You can go and check out the prices on Escape from Tarkov's website, Battlestate Games website. So after purchasing whatever copy you end up deciding, we're going to move over to the launcher where you're going to open up Escape from Tarkov and select your servers. So once you launch the game, you're going to be met with the option of choosing either USEC or Bear. The USEC operative is an American English-speaking operative, and the Bear is a Russian-speaking operative. So on my main account, I have USEC, so I'm just going to select Bear here and show you guys the process of customizing the faces as well as voice lines, which is new in 12.9. So here you're met with 3 options for different faces, and I'm just going to quickly go through each and every single one of them, as well as 3 different voice line options. When you start up your account or reset your account, you can hear the different audio lines that each of the characters say. So I'm just going ahead and selecting these here, and then I'm going to get into the character screen. But just a quick note, in future updates, there will be multiple or other added PMC operative factions that aren't just Bear or USEC. Thought I'd just mention that to you guys. That will be some content that is planned to come out in the future that Battlestate Games has mentioned. So after you create your character, you're going to be met with the character screen or the menu selection screen. As you can see, you have your Escape from Tarkov selection, your character selection, trading, hideout, as well as exiting the game with multiple options down in the bars below. So for right now, we are going to go to the character selection anytime now. Right here, you can see I'm just highlighting the fact that you have your characters, your dealers, Flea Market, which you don't unlock until level 10. The presets tab, which is unlocked at a further point in the game, the handbook, which is basically useless to anyone, as well as the messages. This is where you get notified of direct messages or trader related messages, and then the watch list is yet to come out. So moving into the character selection screen, if you have a standard account, this is exactly what you're going to be met with if you end up choosing Bear. If you use USEC, there will be some slight changes. So I'm just going to quickly go over the character selection screen as well as the tabs at the top. So first you have your overall tabs. Now this shows your overall stash worth, your KD, the kills you have, the time that your account has been active, as well as the total time that you have played in game. Then you also have the number of raids you've done, the number you survived, or the number you died. There's a whole bunch of different statistics you can go and look at in this screen. You can also select different clothing options which can be purchased from Ragman I won't actually go into that. That's something that I recommend you guys discover and experience for yourselves. There's different unlocks for it, and is a very nice sort of money sink in the game once you've had a whole bunch of progression for quests and whatnot. So as you can see, I'm just scrolling through some of these to give you guys an idea of what sort of stats the game automatically tracks. And now I'm just going to sort of show you guys that when you first roll into game, you can remove things, drag them out, bring them, put them in your stash, as well as equip them and put them onto your character. And this goes for ammo, guns, rigs, whatnot. I'm going to get more into that a bit later on in the video, but I just wanted to show you guys that you had those options there. So now the next thing that we're going to go into is going to be the health tab here. So this shows your overall character's health. So you have 6, I believe, 7 major limbs in the game. You have your head, your thorax, stomach, both of your arms, and both of your legs. So for your thorax and for your head, I'm highlighting here, if you black out either of these in game, you die. Now there are skills, soft skills that I'll show a bit later, that decrease the chance of death upon blackening those limbs. However, if you blacken those limbs, any bit of damage to either of them will end up killing you. Now that also goes for the limbs. If you damage a limb to black and you keep taking damage in it, it will kill you. So here down at the bottom, I'm outlining the hydration and nutrition. So if you black your stomach, it will actually decrease your hydration and nutrition count more rapidly than it would otherwise. And now at the top in the green 440, you can see that is your overall health on your PMC operative. The other stats, such as the temperature, your heart rate, radiation, or bio, whatever it is, those statistics haven't been implemented into the game, so they don't affect anything when you play. So here I'm in the skills tab in the top left of the character selection screen. In here, in the skills, it will show your character's level as well as the remaining and current XP achieved. The remaining XP is the remaining experience till you achieve the next level. So here I'm just highlighting the endurance and the strength skills. So these are all physical skills. These are probably 2 of the most important skills in all of Escape from Tarkov. The endurance skill increases your stamina, so how long you're able to run, as well as at elite it changes even more so and gives you extra benefits. Your strength increases your carrying capacity, the speed at which you sprint, as well as the distance at which you throw grenades. So I really recommend when you load up the game, when you go into your skills, you take a look over the skills that I'm sort of running over right now and see more specifically what they do. And if you guys want another video where I just go over soft skills, let me know in the comments. I'd really appreciate it and it would mean a lot. As you can see, there's a lot of soft skills for guns and throwables. Here we get into the recoil control, surgery, search skill, covert movement, mag drills, and I believe aim drills. So all of these will have their own effects. Searching when you reach elite, which is level 51 or 52, I can't quite remember. It will allow you to search multiple items at the same time. Items at the same time. Now, there's also a plethora of abilities / skills that still haven't been released. And the final 2 down here are crafting and hideout management. And this affects how fast you craft items, as well as how slowly things will degrade in your hideout. So I'm just showing the mastering tab here. That will be hopefully more useful in further editions of the game. To display the map and give you guys an idea of the map tab, I just had to go to Therapist here to buy a map to showcase that sort of section. So you see, if you have a map in your inventory and you buy one, on the map tab, it will display a map of the region that the map is allocated for. I really recommend you don't buy in-game maps. There are online maps that you can buy that are a lot more useful, that show a lot more detail, as well as even sometimes show loot spawns. So that's another thing as well. So that right there, what you guys just saw, was the task tab. Now here I'm just going to Prapper, and I am accepting his very first quest debut, just to show off what you guys will see in that task tab at the top left of your character selection screen when you load up. So as you can see, it says the task, the location, the status it's in, as well as the progress of the task itself. Now, after this task tab, I want to just talk about traders. I'm going to go into Prepper here and sort of inspect everything just to give you an idea of what you need to do once you first look at a trader. So here to inspect things, you middle mouse click and it will reveal them to you. You won't be able to equip or use uninspected items when you first start playing. So if there's someone who has a gun that you have not used, you need to middle mouse click to inspect it, as well as the magazines if you wish to reload it. So that's just a quick tip for you guys. Now, Prepper is essentially what I like to think of as the Russian trader. So your more Russian-oriented guns like your Mosins, your AKs, your Ketters, PPSHs, those are items and guns that you can buy through Prepper, as well as ammo for those guns are also sold through Prepper. So just to say as well, inspecting items also gives you experience. So when you inspect all the items for all 7 of your traders that are currently unlocked, sorry, 6 actually, I'm not going to be including fence, it will get you, if I remember correctly, almost to level 2, if not well into level 2. So now I'm just going to exit out of here and show you guys the overall of each of the traders. So we have Prepper, which is your Russian stuff, Therapist, which is your medications and medical items, very, very useful. Get to know and love Therapist. She also does sell food items and water items, which is very useful once you're first starting. We have Fence, who sells anything that is sold to him. So if you sell an item to Fence, he will put it up for resale to other players. Now this can range from any item in the game, from guns to mods to ammo, magazines, food, water, such things like that. You can basically get anything from him that is sold to him. So moving on to Skier. Skier is a bit more of a miscellaneous character when you first unlock him. Trader when you first unlock him. He does sell the brand new M32 headphones. Those ones are probably, in my opinion, by far the best sounding headphones for the current state of the game and its current audio. So moving on now, we are on Peacekeeper. He is the American trader, so he has your M4s, your MP5s, basically American-made rifles and guns. You can buy it through him. He uses a currency of USD, so just be aware of that. When you guys start off, you will have no currency for him, so you'll have to buy it. Now this trader is Mechanic. He is your gunman. So if you're looking for anything gun related, when you're sort of unlocking his levels, first check with Mechanic. He's the person you'll buy gun parts from, him or Peacekeeper, most likely, and he's the one you'll sell guns to. So lastly, we have Ragman. Now, Ragman is your clothing man. So if you're going to be selling clothing or buying clothing related items, you should be trying to sell it to Ragman and avoiding selling it to Fence. However, damaged and unrepairable items that are clothing related do sell to Fence and most likely won't sell to Ragman. So moving on now, I want to show you guys the Flea Market, but because I do not have it unlocked on this account, I'm going to have to switch to my main account, which you guys are seeing right now. So as you can see, I have a big currency bump of 103 mil in the top right there. So I'm just going through, sort of clicking all the tabs to give you guys a bit of an idea of what you can buy on the Flea Market. Every single item that is an escape from Tarkov that has a found in raid status can be listed on the Flea Market. So found in raid is what occurs when you find an item in raid, you survive the raid and get enough experience to extract the raid with items that have found in raid status. So if you're wishing to sell items that you have acquired in some way, if you have died with them, but they have been in your secure container, they unfortunately will not have their found in raid status. So keep that in mind when you're going to list items. Now I'll show you guys what listing items looks like later, but right here I'm just sort of displaying how you can use the browsing feature and the search bar feature, as well as excluding bartering items or including them. So that will be in the settings wheel, which I will show a bit later on in this flea market clip. So here I'm just going through and showing you guys just the amount of items and ammo and ammunition that you can be purchased through the flea market and in Escape from Tarkov. So here now I believe I'm just showing roughly what is going to be the main common used flea market regions when you're first starting the game. So when you first get level 10, you're most likely going to be getting bartering items, which are used in your hideout, which I will also show, as well as gear and equipment or food and water. So those are the common things that as a player you'll be either buying from the flea market because it's cheaper than traders, or you won't have them unlocked on traders quite yet, so you'll want to buy through traders. So you can see here this care cases or containers and cases. This is all of your scav junk boxes, mag cases, ammo cases, stuff that you can store items in that also go within your stash. Is really, really useful if you're on a standard account. It really increases the amount of space that you can work with. But another trick a lot of people use when they're on standard account is to use tactical rigs in order to achieve a larger storage space for the actual amount that they have. So I'm just going to take a sip of coffee right now because I've been talking for 60 minutes straight and I bet you guys are bored of hearing my voice and my throat sort of hurts. So at this point in the video, I'm showcasing my favorite face covering for a helmet, which is the Tarkov Heavy Trooper mask. It makes you look like a Mandalorian from Star Wars, which I really, really love Star Wars. Well, pardon me. So I'm trying to use that as much as I can whenever I'm playing the game or going into raid. So as you can see, just to go over the flea market a little bit with you guys, all the listed items for a searched item are listed on the very right. You can purchase the item by clicking purchase and then selecting a yes. Now the expires time will run out in that dedicated time for that person. If your expiration time ends up running out, you will receive the item back in a notification via Ragman. So essentially, whenever you list an item, there is a flea market fee that you will pay. You can pay more to increase the duration that the item is listed for. However, in many situations, I recommend you do not do that, but instead you list your item for a competitive price relative to the current listings of that item. So if I go, I believe here, I end up going to the medical section here. I'm showing off the stimulants you can buy, which are the injectors. So they are ones that are injected into you and you can use those. And now here I'm going into the medical assortment of the sort of healing pain meds. So your Golden Star bombs, your Vaselines, or your pain medications. Here I'm showing off the AI2 medical kit, which is a very standard starter medical kit. That one is the first aid car. This one is the Grizzly. And then the next one is the IFAC, very versatile. And lastly, the Salewa. So your preference for what you choose to bring into raid for medical items is personal preference. However, I do recommend that you try to accommodate for every possible situation when kitting up for a raid. So that means making sure that you have things that can heal breaks, bleeds, heavy bleeds, concussion. Well, actually, no, you can't really heal that. But pain, as well as blackened limbs. So for blackened limbs, you're going to want CMSs or serve kits. For fractures, you're going to want regular splints, alu splints, or grizzly kits. Survival kits will also work on that too. For light bleeds, you're going to want anything from a regular bandage to a military use bandage to an IFAC to an AFAC to a Salewa to a car battery. Everything but an AI2 will heal a light bleed. However, for heavy bleeds, you're looking at a more limited number of items that will heal that. So for that, you will need an AFAC IFAC, Salewa, Hemostat, or S-Mark. Those are the only ones that heal heavy. Oh, also Grizzly Kits. So here I'm just displaying the settings feature and how to narrow a search down to ensure that the item you're buying is at full durability. So for Salewas, you don't want to be buying one that has 1 health tick out of 400. It would be a waste of your money, as well as it would just be a complete ripoff. So you want to really make sure you have full durability on that. So here I'm just showing out the wish list tab. So when you right click an item, you can add it to your wish list, as well as you can filter for it. Now, doing this is nice because if there's items you know you'll be buying a lot of or that you'll be buying frequently, you can go in here and you can purchase those. And then we can also go into the My Offers tab, which displays the offers that you've currently listed. So now I'm going to show you guys how to add a offer. Now here you can only add items that again are found in raid and have the found in raid status. So whether they're crafted, found from your lucky scab junk box, which I'll show off later, or brought out from a raid that you have survived and achieved adequate experience from, you can list those on the flea market. So here I'm going to be listing a PK06 site. Now this site typically lists for around the 60,000 ruble mark. Here you can see it's a bit under that. So what I'm going to do, rather than increasing the time that I want to have it on the market, I'm actually going to undercut this person and list it for 57,500 rubles. This way, I almost guarantee that mine will be one of the first ones, if not the first listing that comes up when someone is purchasing this item. You can also list an item for barter offers. So you can list it sort of as a trade, in which there would be no currency exchange. It would just purely be an item to item exchange. I don't recommend this necessarily. It is not my preferred way. I like listing things for a price. So here it shows you the time it takes to expire, as well as the fee that is commission on listing your item. Now the fee can change depending on your Intel center's level. So for me, I have a max Intel center, so my fee is reduced by 40%. So here you can see your listing when it is highlighted in blue. You can also remove it. I don't recommend you do that because then you lose the cost you pay on putting up your fee. So here when you sell an item, it will be sold and Ragman will notify you with a message. You can then either click the Get tab or the Receive All, in which you can drag your money straight into your inventory and you have sold an item on the flea market. Now again, I just want to remind you, you won't have access to this until you are at level 10 in game. So now I'm going to show you guys what your hideout will look like when you just start the game. So here my hideout is going to be pitch black, dark, and I won't have anything constructed or built within it. So when you first start out, your hideout is going to look like this, and you can enter your hideout and sort of run around, get a feel for what it's like in actual size. So I'm just going to be running around here, but I want to show and display what a maxed out hideout is, as well as describe what each and everything does within it. So I'm going to end up pausing this and cutting to that for you guys right now. Okay, so I'm on my main account now, and here is what a max level hideout looks like. So you have your scav case. This is basically a gambling simulator in which you can send items and pay items to receive a chance at getting better ones back. This is the solar panel unit. It reduces the fuel consumption of the generator by 40%. Then your generator produces light and powers other things within your hideout that can be used to craft, such as your Bitcoin farm, Intel Center, workbench. So as I just saw, you have the nutrition unit, which you can craft food at. You have your air filtration unit, which you can place air filters in to increase physical experience for physical skills. You have your heating, which increases health gain as well as energy recovery. You have your library, which increases the experience gained as well as practical skill experience gain. Resting space increases metabolism, health, stuff like that. Med unit, you can craft meds. Your booze generator, you can craft moonshines, which either sell for a lot or can be used in the scav junk box. Your water collector crafts super waters, which are used to make moonshine or sold on the flea market for a good chunk. You have illumination, which is basically required for other upgrades within your hideout, as well as lights up your base. Bitcoin farm produces bitcoins, but it requires graphics cards and takes a lot of money to upgrade. Your intelligence center reduces various fees, increases experience gain or money gain from quests. Your workbench allows you to craft various ammos, munitions, grenades, stuff like that. Now here I accidentally clicked in. Your laboratory is used to craft different items that are used in either quests or bartering goods, bartering items used for upgrades. And your stash is just the overall stash space that is in your character selection and stash space. So illumination, vents, and security don't really do anything, but they are required for other upgrades done in your hive. So here I'm just preparing to display and show you guys the different armors and armor types, as well as classes that are within Escape from Tarkov. But I just want to take this time to quickly explain to you guys that before you guys get into your first raid, you should be aware that you spawn into raid with other players as well as scavs. So scavs are different AI characters which basically have limited intellectual skill in a way. They're fairly easy to kill, however when you first start out, I wish to warn you, they are fairly difficult in some occasions. Now, this doesn't mean that you're always going to die to scavs. And as a new player, I recommend you actually practice in offline mode, which I will show you guys when you are first about to go into your first raid. It's a great way to learn recoil control, gun skill, aiming, stuff like that, as well as learn the maps and different locations of loot, and also can familiarize you with the scav AI. So dying to scavs happens to everyone. It still even happens to me, and I have 1,800 hours in this game. So now I quickly want to run over armor with you guys. So I'm sorry, but I'm actually going to be looking up an armor here to possibly buy it. There's five, technically 6 classes of armor in Escape from Tarkov, ranging from class 1 all the way up to class 6. Now, different classes will have different protection against calibers of bullets. So I recommend you guys download the Battle Buddy app on iOS or Android. It will display to you the chance that a bullet has to penetrate a specific armor, and it will give you guys a better understanding of what armors will protect you from what bullets. So at the very top, we are starting with class 2. So the typical class 2 armor that a lot of people run is the P.A.K.A. Now it's fairly not very useful when it comes to this stage of the game. However, it can help protect you from some scavs, so you guys should at least always be running this when you go into raid. So these are tier 2. Now moving down, we have the Krasa, which is a tier 3 armor, as well as the tier 3 armored rig. So tier 3 provides a bit more protection from bullets that would be shot by scavs, and even starts to protect you from bullets shot by players. So with all armors, they have certain durability, and whenever you take a bullet, that durability will decrease. However, if you survive the raid, you can actually repair your armor, which is strongly recommended, as repaired armor will have better odds of not allowing a bullet to penetrate. So the armored rig has storage space within it, as you can see here, and different armored rigs will have different storage spaces. Now, the trooper armor that I'm showing here, as well as the AVS and the TV-110 rig, they all are class 4 armors. However, the AVS and the TV rig are armored rigs. As you can see, they have a fairly large storage capacity. And like I said, I recommend you guys use Battle Buddy to familiarize yourself with which armors are which class and which tier, so it can give you guys a better understanding of what you might want to use and what you might want to run in your raids. So those are the class 4 armors that I just thought I would display. And moving on to the class 5s, we have the Defender 2 armor, the Killa armor, as well as the Tactec armor. So class 5 right now is basically starting to be your standard staple armor classification. These can withstand a absolute beating. They can protect you really well, and are very, very useful. So basically, once you're in your class 5s, class 6s, you are getting significant protection from bullets. So the Tactec there is an armored rig, as you guys can see. I sort of displayed its capacities. Now lastly, we have class 6 armors. So these provide the largest amount of protection from bullets and are ridiculously good. If you're running one of these, you will almost always be able to survive multiple gunshots, unless you get shot in the head, of course, which, if you guys don't know, headshots are almost guaranteed one-shots. So moving down the list here, from armor we are going towards ammo. So each different gun in the game has its own caliber. So here I'm showing off 7.62 by 51, which is shot on different guns like the MDR and the RSAS there, as well as 7.62 by 39 on the AKMS that I just displayed. So when you inspect a bullet, it will show you the caliber that it is, as well as the type of round it is after. So when you guys are loading up guns and whatnot, you can do what's called a linked search on them, and that will provide you with the guns that can be used and can shoot that ammo, as well as the magazines that ammo can be loaded into. So here I just want to show you guys just how much ammo I have and how I organize it. I tend to organize it by category of SMG, AR, sniper, AK, sort of stuff like that. And I just wanted to show you guys how much I have, just to show you just how many different rounds are actually in the game. But not only that, but just how many are actually viable when it comes to playing the game and being able to kill players. So moving on now, I'm going to show you guys what setting up your gear is going to look like. So this is what your player would look like if it was clean slate. Basically, you just died, you lost all your gear, and you want to come back in. So you have your earpieces, headpiece, face covering, armband, armor body, eyewear, weapon on your sling, on your holster, on your back, your tactical rig, your pockets, and your backpack. And lastly, your secure container or your pouch. So I'm just I am going to just sort of suit up my character for what I might want to bring into raid. And guys, biggest recommendation, always wear headphones when you're going into raid. Headphones save your life. Audio is a very, very big factor when it comes to playing this game. It will really help you and really ensure that you guys have the best awareness. Whether or not you can differentiate direction is one thing, but at least being able to hear someone is another. So here I'm actually going to sell some of those armors to Ragman because I'm definitely not going to use them. They're just not worth my time and my money. So once I sell those, now I'm going to buy a backpack to show you guys just what a fully loaded character could typically look like in your raids. Now I'm going to say, just for the sake of this video, that people running class 5 and class 6 armors at this stage in the wipe is going to be fairly common. Don't be surprised if you see someone with it, and don't be upset if you die to someone using it. So here I just wanted to show off the linked search feature to buy magazines for my gun. So here, when you do a linked search, you can see all the rounds that gun shoots, as well as the weapon parts and mods that can go onto it. So for this gun, or for any gun, magazines are under gear mod. So you can go under gear mod, it will give you the magazines tab, and then you can buy the designated magazines that you wish to use. So here I am buying some magazines for this MDR, which I will be using in my next raid. So when you buy magazines, I recommend you put them into your person, onto your person, sorry, whether it's in your rig or in your pockets if they're one slots. So you can load ammo by either dragging the ammunition over to the mag, or you can go into the mag, right click it, go to load ammo, and it will bring up the options of the ammo that you can load into those magazines. Now, you will know if you can load an ammo into the magazine by either doing that right click method or dragging it over. If it is green, it means you can load it. If not, it means you can't. So now I want to talk about the weight system for the game. So every item has a specific weight, and depending on your strength, you'll be able to carry more of gear on your person or in your backpack. So when you are in the green or in the gray, it means that your character is underweight, meaning that your movement speed will be at its maximum, and you will not have any movement penalties because of that. However, if you manage to put enough items into your bag or onto your person, you will become overweight. When this happens, you will lose movement speed and will gain movement penalties such as decreased jump, decreased sprint speed, as well as your stamina will drain significantly faster. So until you are a fairly high level, I recommend that you try to stay underweight as much as possible, or bring a mule stimulant, which if you do some research on it, you will know it increases your maximum carrying capacity, which means it helps you run when you are really overweight. So now I'm just loading up the meds that I would typically bring into raid, which consists of a Salewa, a hemostat, a Propital, and an IFAC. Now here you can drag items down from your inventory to that bar on the bottom, which basically gives them hot select numbers. So when you click it, it will use that item in game, which is very useful because you won't have to go into your inventory to use them. I also just wanted to point out a little funny thing. You can rotate a lot of items within your backpack or your character and make them look all funny. Magazines and one slots don't really work that well, but I just thought I'd display that to you guys because it's a little bit of fun that I like to do sometimes. So, the next bit of information I want to talk about is selecting maps. So in Escape from Tarkov, if you're going to play, you can either play as your scav or your PMC here. Scavs, you go in with none of your own gear. It's randomly selected, and you spawn in mid-raid, and you can play it out. Now, your PMC, you have selections of playing on seven different maps. You have Shoreline, Reserve, Factory, Woods, Customs, Interchange, and lastly, Labs. However, with Labs, as a new player, I really don't recommend you go here. It requires a key card for an entrance fee, which can cost right now almost 500,000 rubles. So until you're approximately level 30 to level 40, I wouldn't recommend you go Labs, or at least until you get more comfortable with the game. So for this video, I'm just going to I select Factory here, just to display that Factory has stagnant times, so you can either go during day or during night, and it never has a change in weather. However, other maps have changes in weather and time. So as you can see on Customs, there is nighttime, which is roughly 9 o'clock, and morning, which is roughly 9 a.m. Now, when you go in and you select the map you want to go into, the first screen you'll see is this one, which allows you to enable offline mode if you wish to play without other players. Now, I recommend this when you're first starting, just to get a handle on the mechanics as well as the maps that you will be playing, as well as you can turn on and off scavs, whether you want to practice killing them or not. So the next screen, if you are going into a raid online, is the insurance. So you can insure through either Prapper or through Therapist. For me personally, I only insure through Prapper. This is personal preference, as Therapist just holds onto your items for a longer period of time after you receive them back. So if you play it more casually, play once or twice a week, I recommend you go with Therapist over Prapper. So here, to insure an item, you just left click on it and it will highlight it in an orange, and it will bring up the total cost of the item on the right. Now, for this, I already have my Slick insured. but I'm just going through and ensuring everything else. Now you can also select the ensure all. However, if you don't have a lot of money, I wouldn't recommend this because it will ensure your documents case or whatever you have in your secure container, which tends to cost a large amount of money, as well as if you have a red rebel or a expensive melee item, it will also cost a fortune to do so. But I've done it just because I have a lot of money on my main account and I wanted to have the ease of being able to hit that whenever I go into a raid. So after going through all that, I just want to go through and show you guys how to read maps and how extractions work. So for this last bit of the video, I just want to showcase a tool that I use online called Map Genie. Now Map Genie has all the Escape from Tarkov maps that are on it, and it can show you on the left side there's a legend, and it will show you a ridiculous amount of information. So I recommend you guys go on this website and play around with the map system a little bit. It's great to learn the maps and to be able to orient yourself in-game with the map that you are using. I know when I first started playing, I would use maps almost all the time. I would have one up on my phone or my second monitor, because when you get to the end of the raid and you're trying to leave, not knowing where you're going is almost guaranteed to get you killed, which is always an unfortunate thing. So I'm just deselecting everything here down to the point where it only shows spawns and extractions. So some of these spawns are scav spawns, most are PMC spawns. Again, I recommend you go in and play around with it. So when you go to extract in Escape from Tarkov, you have different options depending on the extraction that you're going to. So for the armored train here on reserve, you have to actually wait till it comes onto the map, which is about around between the 10 minutes left in the raid to 20 minutes left in the raid. And then once you get on the train, you have to wait for it to depart in order for you to extract. Now the bunker hermetic door that I just showed there, you actually have to go and switch a lever on in order to activate the extraction point. Reserve is probably the hardest when it comes to extraction points because there are so many special requirement ones and only one generic extraction point. Sewer manhole, you can't have a backpack, which very much limits the amount of loot you can take out of the raid. And then the cliff descent requires you to have a red rebel, which a lot of newer players won't have at this point in the game. So to finish this video off, I just want to thank you guys all for watching and sticking around. I really appreciate it. If you like what you saw and have any recommendations, please leave them in the comments down below. As well as you can come join my Discord. Link will be down in the description. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I stream live on YouTube now. I moved over from Twitch. So please feel free to come, hang out, subscribe, like, comment, and I hope to see you guys in Tarkov. Peace.